Order of operations. We need the order of operations rules so that people get the same answer when they do the same sum, and that when people create a sum, they know how to set it out so that everyone will get a consistent answer. Look at the first question, 3 plus 4 divided by 2. If you had someone who thought that what you needed to do was work from left to right, and someone who thought that they should follow an order of operations, let's have a look at what happens. What is happening, of course, if we follow this correctly, is that we must do the division first, and this sum was Alice had 3 cakes, and then she got half of the 4 that her brother John had. So we've got 3 cakes plus half of 4, or 4 divided by 2. So that's 3 plus 4 divided by 2 is 2. So Alice has 5 cakes. Oh, we've got quite a delay there, sorry. Imagine though, if what we had was someone who thought you should just work left to right, and they decided that Alice had 3 cakes and then got another 4 cakes, so that's 7 cakes, and then that was divided by 2, Alice would only get 3.5 cakes and wouldn't be very happy. We can't have the same sum getting 2 different answers, which is why we need to know what order we need to do them in. Now the second example was wrong. We don't just work left to right, we follow the order of operations, and we know that that means we do multiplications and divisions before we do adding or subtracting. So you may know BODMAS or BIMDAS or PEDMAS or all of the others. They're all just ways to help you remember the rules. And the rules are: do sums in brackets first, and when we learn how to expand brackets, we'll also expand brackets first. But we don't need to worry about that. It's just if there's a sum in a bracket, we'll do that first. Then, if there are any powers, we evaluate those, we get the answer. So powers are things like when I have 3 squared. That's 9. We don't have to worry about those much at the moment, but we'd better mention them. Then, left to right, we do all multiplications and divisions. And last, left to right, all additions and subtractions. And as long as we follow this, and we remember these rules when we're creating sums as well as when we're doing sums, we will get the right answer. So some suggestions as we work through these examples. My first suggestion, or the first rule, is keep the whole sum together. Don't decide you're going to work out a little bit of it somewhere else and then come back and do it. every line should equal the same as the line before it, so the whole lot of the sum needs to be there. And 2, in each line, try underlining what you're going to do first. So maybe try that with these 2 questions. Pause for a second and see if you can work them out. Alright, so question 1, 5 minus 6 times negative 2. We look for any sums in brackets. No, the only reason the brackets are around the negative 2 is to show us that the minus belongs to the 2. Are there any powers? No. Okay, so we look for multiplications and divisions. So I'm going to do 6 times negative 2 first. But I'm going to write out the rest of the sum and just put the answer to 6 times negative 2 where that went. So I write equals 5 minus, and then I do 6 times negative 2. Now, 6 times negative 2, it's going to be a negative, and 2 times 6 is 12. So I've got 5 minus negative 12. A minus and a minus right next to each other, taking away a negative is a positive, so that's 5 plus 12. And the only thing I've got to do now is this last sum, so once you get to the last sum, 5 plus 12 is 17. Just scrolling down. The next sum, negative 21 divided by, in brackets, 5 minus negative 2. So we think through our rules, have a shot at this one if you didn't before, and pause and come back to it. What am I going to do first? There's a sum in brackets, so I'll deal with that first. But I write down the rest of the sum, and just where that bracket was, I'm going to put the answer to what's in it. So negative 21 divided by is the rest of it, and then I need to evaluate 5 minus negative 2. That's 5 plus 2, which is 7. And then I've only got one sum left to do. Negative 21 divided by 7, negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. So we had to be very careful. If we've done that out of order, we'd get a different answer, but we need negative 3. Let's look at question 3, much more complicated. Scan across and look for any brackets, sums in brackets. We've got one. So I'm going to do the sum in the bracket first and put everything else in the right place. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Now I've dealt with what was in the bracket, I write out everything else that was in the sum that I had to do, making sure not to miss anything out, because being careless would mean I got the wrong answer. And now I look at this. What should I do first now? Are there any powers? No. So from left to right, I need to do the multiplications. 1 times 4. But I also need to do the divisions if I can at the same time, and it's over here where it won't be annoying. 5 divided by negative 5. Now it's not negative 5 divided by negative 5, because that minus says I'll be taking away what I get when I've done 5 divided by negative 5. If it was negative 5 divided by negative 5, then I would have seen negative 5 divided by negative 5, And I would have seen another sign, maybe saying plus, there. So the minus is a plus and a minus to be dealt with later. It's not a negative, because a negative would be put in brackets if it was in the middle of the sum. And now you see why it's so helpful to have brackets around your negatives. So very quickly, doing my multiplications and divisions. 1 times 4 is 4. I write down plus 6 minus, and then I work out 5 divided by negative 5. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And now I've just got pluses and minuses. That's a negative. And I can work from left to right doing the pluses and the minuses. 4 plus 6 is 10. Minus negative 1 means plus 1. I've got 11. Now you're very welcome to stop watching here. We're over time, and the next one is an extension question. But if you want to do the extension question, please feel free. And you can see why this is extension. We've got powers and we've got brackets in brackets. So, brackets first. But which brackets? We do, well, when I come to deal with this last bracket, I need to deal with everything in the bracket with order of operations as well. So brackets in brackets happen first of all. So, I can, if something's way over here and not attached to what I have to do first at all, I can manage to do 2 sets of brackets first, but I'll still have the large set of brackets left over. So I'm going to have 9 squared plus bracket 2 plus 9 times, and then I get rid of these brackets and do the sum inside them. 1 plus 1 is, oh, I'm sorry, I wrote a 2 instead of a 9. That was very careless of me. I've fixed that now. Now, there we go. So 1 plus 1 is 2. There we go. 2 brackets have been dealt with, but I've still got the third bracket to deal with, and inside that big bracket I've got to do order of operations. And I've got to do this first. I can do the 9 squared at the same time because it won't be affected. It's separate from what I'm doing over with the big bracket. But if you want, you can be very careful and stick exactly to order operations. 9 squared is 81 plus, still got my brackets because I haven't got rid of all of them yet, 2 plus 9 times 2 is 18. Close my bracket. Then finish the last bracket, but you'll see by this time there's only pluses left to do. Even though one set of pluses is in the brackets, we can do all of these at the same time if we want. You'll think it through. Anyway, it's 2 plus 18 is 20. 81 plus 20 is 101. So a little bit challenging for our last question there.